Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I'm pretty sure all of us have a sense of what's right and what's wrong, what crosses a line and what kind of behavior doesn't cross a line. So I would say that we all agree that, rape is wrong, correct? Correct. Well, the problem is if a person conducts himself in such a manner into, raping a victim, he's not going to be raped in return to make it, justice. You don't dispense justice to the rapist by raping the perpetrator, do you? Obviously not. Why? Because we have to show that we are, more intelligent than that, more fair. This is justice, which is we try to protect the society and, punish the perpetrator in such a way that you keep him away from the society so he doesn't do it again. And you try to create an environment that you're going to change, the person's behavior in the future if, and I'm assuming you're going to release the rapist back in the society. And hope that he's not going to do the same thing again. Now, we have here Zelensky, the president-elect of Ukraine, and he thinks that it's only a matter of justice if we do the same thing that was done to us, that we consider bad. Now imagine, for instance, or maybe you know that when the Soviet army, Red Army, came into Germany, there was a lot of raping over there. You remember that one? I hope you read about it. So that means that let's say the German army, if they would have taken had the upper hand, they should go and do the same thing as a matter of justice? That's not how it works. Do you agree with me? I mean, I know that an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth is very much, in certain kind of scriptures, books. Not the New Testament, the Old Testament. In the New Testament, as Christians, we have, turn the other cheek, forgive, so you can be forgiven. Correct? Correct. So it's a different attitude here. We have Zelensky, who tells us that actually it's a matter of justice using cluster munition on the Russians. It's just a matter of justice. So they are hitting us with cluster munition, if they hit. We don't like it, but we're going to do the same thing, just a matter of justice. That's another thing. Don't do unto others what you don't like to be done unto you, or something like that. Golden rule or something like this. And we have Confucius, we have the New Testament, right? So let's see what's going on here with this Zelensky. Ukrainska Pravda, Wednesday 12, 2023, July. Zelensky says sending cluster munitions to Ukraine is a matter of justice. And believe me, I didn't read the article, but I have a gut feeling in my balls, not in my gut, in my balls, that Ukrainska Pravda will not criticize him in this article. On the contrary, will support this way of thinking and acting. That I don't think you would agree with. If someone, God forbid, does something bad to your family, let's say rape you something in your family, I don't think you're going to go over there and do the same thing, would you? There's a reason why the Roman law is different than other kind of laws. You remember the collective punishment? We don't have the collective punishment. If someone, let's say, one individual, one member of a family commits a crime somewhere in the public, that person alone is punished, not the family. You don't come with a bulldozer and you destroy their house because that person committed a crime. You don't do that. In some parts of the world, but still the Roman law doesn't have the collective punishment, okay? Otherwise we will, okay, you're this guy, you belong to this group, you harmed me, I'm gonna do this to the whole group. And besides, if this member of a group committed a murder and I, to Zelensky's justice system, I should do it to the person, and I will also up it with collective punishment. That means if you commit the crime, it's only just, according to Zelensky, to commit a crime on this guy, and through the collective punishment, the same philosophy, lack of, anyway, I can do to the rest of you guys. Well, I can only give you hints. If you know what I'm talking about, you're going to find that there are some idiots out there who are using this kind of things, this kind of thinking. Collective punishment. Yeah, your son did something, we're gonna bring bulldozer and destroy your family's house. Why? So you don't do it again, you guys, you see? Now that's punishment, collective punishment. And from there you can go to, obviously, genocide. Again, based on the group membership. Let's read further here. So I'm assuming this is gonna be a yes, we agree with you, you're good. Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelensky. It's very interesting. These guys call Zelensky Ukraine's president, and the Russians, who know better, call him the Ukrainian president. Maybe these guys know exactly what they're talking about, but why aren't the Russians using the same term? Anyway, Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, is convinced that the US supply of cluster munitions to Ukraine is a restoration of justice in response to Russia's shelling of Ukraine using similar projectiles. Any doubts, my friends? Any doubts? For him, that's justice. Now, if some bad dudes, let's say some bad dudes in the military, let's say they use cluster munitions and they kill innocent civilians, Ukrainian civilians, you're gonna kill their civilians with the same kind of weapon? Why are those guys guilty? The military, I understand, that was the order done. It's a war, eye for an eye. But the civilians? Don't you punish the guilty one, not by association? Because by association, you can go to groups. And from groups, it goes to Adolf. Okay? You know what I mean? It goes to genocide and other BS. Source: the president's speech at the joint press conference held by Volodymyr Zelensky and Jens Stoltenberg. So he said this in public, and nobody told him, man, you are a criminal. What's going on here? What is this? And I'm quoting Zelensky directly. Russia constantly, no, Russia, it's not Russia. There's some Russian military. You have to be very exact. Otherwise, Russia constantly uses cluster munitions on our territory. It is fighting slowly on our land. It is killing our people. And the help that we can get from United States of America regarding the decision on cluster missiles is to be used purely for military purposes, purely on the temporary occupied territory of Ukraine. Well, you know that the only problem with the cluster munition is not that they are used for military purposes. That's the whole thing. If they would hit, they will explode and they would destroy only military, that's one thing. That's the only danger. Those things will not explode, will be over there, and civilians will step on them, we're going to activate them. That's the whole thing. So there's no such a thing of, he's going to kill only the civilians, only the military. It's not that. So if you say these guys are doing that to you, to your people, why do you do it back to these people? You can't just say, you know what, I'm going to launch an atomic bomb over Hiroshima and it's going to kill only the military installations over there. Really? So the flames and everything is going to avoid, everything is going to kill only the military. So from a realistic point of view, he's a weasel. He knows exactly that that's the whole problem with the cluster munitions. They will explode, some of them will not explode, and they will kill indiscriminately. That's the whole thing. And he can say, it's only military. Do you think the Russians didn't think the same way? Well, it's only the military purposes, unless you think they're somehow different as a group of people, and that's, where you go into that one, and they attack only civilians, but we're not going to do that because we're better. We're going to use the same weapons, the weapons that know not to kill civilians. I mean, if you're a baby, you can believe that. I don't. Why? A bullet kills in the same way a civilian and a criminal and a military general or a infantry little guy over there. The same way. It's not going to be, are you a civilian? Yeah. Psst. So let's see what else. Details. Zelensky gave assurances that the use of cluster munitions will be controlled. This is about justice. We are defending ourselves. You can't, by defending yourself, do anything that you want, understand that? Without using the corresponding weapons on the territory of other states, the president said. These assurances, again, they're not realistic. In real life, that's BS. And defending yourself, it doesn't mean that if you defend yourself, you can do things that are, awful. I'm defending myself, I'm going to go and rape his mother or something. Is that how it works? I'm defending myself, here I have it. Because he raped my mother. Is that how it goes? It's a murky situation because you go from one thing to another and the end is growing and more disaster. So no, just trying to justify this because you defend yourself or just because you were abused in the past, the laws should not apply to you. I've been told this by some people that I worked with because, hey, I was abused in the past, awful abuse, but the laws still apply to you. You don't get a pass because you were abused by someone else, and now you're gonna drop everything on these guys, like with certain kind of reparations. You're gonna affect these guys that have nothing to do with it because something that happened not even to you in the past by some other people. The same here. No, wait a second. Unless you don't consider yourself a moral person and you're as the other guy that you don't like. The guy that you say, well, that's morally bankrupt. Well, if you use the same method, you're the same, morally bankrupt. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.